Yes, please. Praveen Sahib.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu.
I met Abdul Rahim Sahab of Mauritius, who's not well these days, lives in Kilburn.
Abdul Rahim Sahab of Mauritius?
Ji.
Achha.
He lives in Kilburn. He is the oldest member of the community in England.
I know Abdul Rahim Sahab very well.
Ji.
Yes, when I was here, I was a student in 1955. Then the most active members of the Jamaat there were a few active members of Jamaat. The forward among them were Deen Sahib Marhoom, Aziz Deen Sahib, and also Abdul Rahim Sahib. He was very active during those days.
Mr. Aziz Deen Sahib used to be very, very close to him.
Yes, I remember them both working together in a spirit of comradeship. They were very close, in fact.
I would like to relate one or two instances in his life.
Yes, please.
These days he would love to come here, but he's not well. He's got some breathing problems. He's now 75, and he asked me to request.
75 is not a very old age, is it?
No, it's not.
I think he has not been well for some time. Yes.
He arrived here in 1943, and he was on a ship, in a convoy of ships, which were warned that most of them will be lost on the way, because they were in the war,
yes.
And they were being attacked. So his ships, all the people and the crew on his ship were very worried, and they all had their life jackets on. And he did not wear a life jacket. So they all congregated to him. He said, "What's the matter with you? Why are you don't look worried? Why don't you wear the life jacket?" He said, "When you were all wearing life jacket, I just dozed off for a second or so, and I saw that my grave is being dug in the ground." And he says, "This is an indication by God that I will not drown, because this way my grave will not be on the land." He used to preach them, so they were very surprised, and some of them wondered how God conveys these ideas. And eventually, most of the convoy was lost, of ships was lost, and their ship survived and landed in Scotland, somewhere in Scotland, I believe in Glasgow. And he said he knew of a mosque, Ahmadiyya mosque in England, and he very much desired to come here. And he took permission from someone or one of his authorities and came here. And he found his way. He did not know much of English, but he somehow found his way to Putney. Meanwhile, the ship was ordered to leave, and Mr. Rahim did not know that. And when he went back, the ship had already sailed, and he did not know what to do. So he came back to the mosque and asked other members to help him or do something. A long time afterwards, he had to get some ration, because during the war they had to have some rations, without which they could not live. So Aziz Deen Sahib and few other members took him to some MP, and he said he would look into it. And he called them back and said, "This man is not alive according to our records, because the ship was attacked as it left Glasgow and was drowned, and there wasn't any survivor whatsoever, and there is no record that someone was left behind."
So the deal was meant only for him.
That's right. This was meant just for him, and everyone else had drowned. He had passed through all sorts of life during the war here, and he has been very closely associated with the
But he's still alive, isn't he?
Yes.
The way you have started talking about him, one would imagine perhaps he's not no more alive.
No.
Generally we talk of our dead like this.
And he's often reading most of the books of Promised Messiah, and I thought...
convey to him my sincere regards, Assalamu alaikum, and from everybody here. We were very pleased, in fact, to hear this very, as the Imam refers, faith-inspiring incident. Thank you. Yes, please. Mohammed Sahab? Yes, please. Wa alaikum.
I don't have any question to ask at the moment. I have a friend with me, Mr. Martin Houseman. I'd like to introduce
Yes,
him.
please.
Mr. Martin. He might like to ask some questions.
Yes. Mr. Morrison, come here and meet me. No, sorry,
How
are you?
Very well, thank you. And you?
Please tell me, please. Come, please. If you want to ask questions.
Yes, I do have a question.
Yes.
Well, I have a few, but I'll ask one at the moment. The promised Messiah, as you believe, Ahmed,
Yes.
was prophesied in the Quran according to your beliefs. How is it that most of Islam do not accept that? That's all.
Yes. Well, that's a very elementary question which you should have known the answer of yourself. I'm very surprised. You should have known the answer yourself. Jesus Christ was mentioned in the Old Testament, wasn't he?
Yes.
Most of the Jews refused to believe in him, rejected him, behaved very cruelly. And his claim is that of being the promised Messiah. So what happened with the earlier Messiah, somehow, not exactly, but there should have been some similarity between the old Messiah and the new Messiah, who claims that he has been named after him. So the way he was treated and his followers were treated is exactly, well, I shouldn't say exactly, but mostly and generally the behavior of the non-Ahmadi Muslims towards the Ahmadiyya community and the founder. There are so many similarities. The time, for instance, yes please?
You're saying similarities between
the first Messiah and the second Messiah who was to come in his name and who had to bear some similarities to him. This is the significance of his being called the promised Messiah. If you understand the Ahmadiyya claim, then everything will become so easy for you to understand. All these questions will become so simple. The fact is that according to our belief, the Messiah was promised, the Messiah that was promised to the Muslims by the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was not the old Messiah in person. It was to be someone else born in his ummah who was to bear some relationship, some similarities to the older Messiah. And also we believe that when the Messiah himself, peace be upon him, told his followers that he would reappear again, it was exactly the same thing that he meant, that it would not be he in person who would reappear, but someone in his name, bearing his character, would again come and call the people to light as he did. So this is our belief.